Okay, so welcome to part two of What is Bipolar. I kind of wanted to readdress some of the things I had talked about in my previous video and kind of sort of, I guess, compact them into a shorter video. Um, Basically, bipolar affects your cognitions, your behaviors, and obviously your emotions. It causes, the way in which it affects these three things is it will cause you to have mood swings or mood shifts. It will impair your thinking and judgment, and you may become, like in terms of actions or behaviors, you may become more impulsive or more lethargic, for example. Um, Basically, it interferes with your ability to function in general. If you're on a high or you're manic or hypomanic, then you're going to experience, impulsive, like, you're going to make impulsive decisions, basically. You're going to quit your job, quit school, done that. You're just going to just go through everything really quick, hard, fast, done. And that's just the way, the high state goes, not to mention you think that you're the best thing in the world. And you are likely very hyperactive, you're very busy, starting things, doing things, just constantly active. You can't sleep, you're just happy, you're on a high, right? So it mania or hypomania interferes with your ability to function because all of a sudden you become very impulsive, you know. So that can be quite an issue. In terms of interfering with your ability to function when you're depressed, obviously you're lethargic, you don't want to do anything. You still may quit your job or you may quit school or whatever, but it's for different reasons. It's because you can't do it. You're self-loathing. You're worthless. You're just the biggest piece of shit on the planet, basically. It's depression, and like I said, most of you are probably familiar with depression, but this is like times 100. Like it's low. um, so that's how bipolar would interfere with your ability to function. But bipolar is very different for everybody. Everybody has different symptoms. Everybody experiences it differently. It's very personal. For me, I have impulse control problems. Like I said, I did quit school for a while. I went back and finished, but I did quit school. I've quit so many different things. It's unbelievable. And in depression, I've gone through the whole self-harm phase. I've sat on a couch and stared at a wall for several days, and that was unusually a good time. Like, it was just, you just zone out. But anyway, yeah, it's just interfering with your ability to function. Judgment impairment's another big one for me personally. I would say one of the hardest things about depression in general is the fact that you can't trust yourself sometimes, and you have to rely on other people to tell you what is the best decision to make right now, because honestly, my body, my mind, everything, every fiber of my being is telling me to do X, but everybody around me is saying do Y. So it's just, you can't trust yourself sometimes, and I think that's one of the hardest things about bipolar and it interfering with your life. I wanted to go over the fact that there are 4 different mood episodes for bipolar. You have your manic episode, which is very hyperactive. It's the hardcore high, right? And then you have what's called hypomanic, which is less severe than mania. It's still high, but it's not as hardcore as the manic state. You also have depression, right? Which is depression. Not much to say about that. Sadness, melancholy, the whole bit, suicidal thoughts. And then you have what are called mixed episodes. And that's basically when you have mania with depression. That's why it's called a mixed episode. How that works is, let's say you'd have really rapid thinking, or really high impulse control problems, but you think you're the biggest piece of shit on the planet. You know, so I'd have really rapid thoughts about killing myself, for example. Or I'd have really rapid thoughts about, you know, how worthless I am. I'd be extremely irritable, agitated, very full of anxiety. That would be a mixed episode. Not everybody gets those. Those are actually really rare. Fortunately, I do have those. So I can talk a little bit about those. Those make you feel absolutely insane. They make you feel absolutely insane because you are moving very quickly in your mind, but yet you are standing still, so to speak. It's a tough feeling. Mixed episodes are tough. I would say they're the worst one. Yeah, definitely in my opinion, they're the worst kind of mood episode to have. In terms of treatment or managing bipolar, obviously you've got medications and therapy, you know, those basic things. I'm actually going to do a sort of like a mini-series on the steps in controlling or managing your bipolar. So I'll have more to say about that later, but that's in terms of treatment or management. I have a lot to say about that, so I won't talk about that right now, but there are ways to cope. There are ways to deal with it and lead a very fulfilling life. So there's hope, you know. So yeah, I really just wanted to reiterate a lot of the things I had previously said, but in a shorter video, so to speak. You know, yeah, okay. I think I've hit all the points on my agenda, so I will just chat with you later.